Okay, hello. This is Christopher David Mullen. Oh gosh, this is not gonna work well if I can't zoom out. But anyways, um, I spent this time in England and some time in the United States just retooling the branding project that I did for a previous 4 week project, so that I could create something nice for eMagine. Um, So a lot of what I did was just to create sort of like a more modern looking logo. Um, I really like this uh, three color, four if you include the white, sort of basic model for the logo that I created. But as in review, what I wanted to do was create like a complete brand, and I think I did that pretty well. I started off with just creating sort of the feel for the logo. So I went through, created like specific typography and for each name that I wanted to include. I could have made one for my middle name, David, but I figured that would just be too much. So I just stuck with Christopher Mullen. They're relatively in the same style. Um, I don't really have much to say about the specific like typography, like this right here and this one. It's they're just there to be able to throw on anything, and they're really you can move them around a lot. Um, and the style fits anywhere. So Christopher Mullen, this is like a letter. Like if I were to help somebody out and or like a client or whatever, this is what they would get. They get the first name on the front, last name on the back. Um, it'd be a really nice thing. Same thing with the sweatshirts. Like uh, I don't have a Christopher version of the sweatshirts or a Mullen version, but I'd throw them on there as well. And then the shirts, uh, I should say by complete brand, I mean like everything. Like I could throw this into a truck and take it to like Comic Con or whatever and just set up a booth and be like, hey, this is my graphic design thing. Come and support or whatever. And have people be able to walk around with stuff as well as having practical uses for everything that I created. So that's where these come in. This is what if I were to send out briefings for something that I was doing for somebody, they would come like this. Like they would show up in this letter. It would have this on the front, like a big stack of paper, and then the pages would look like this. Like this would be the first page, and then you just go from there to have everything else as well. And along with the complete brand comes social media aspects. So up top is the vector that I would use for um, the profile picture. And I mean, you can kind of see that right there, as well as the banner. And so I just kind of incorporated that into one sort of large document. You can see everything separate, and you can see what I wanted to try to do. I wanted to try to create something in the background, but it was just too much, and it didn't look too great. So I stuck with this sort of just connecting it that way, and it was fine. Um, One thing that I would probably do differently is I don't know. I regardless of how it turned out, I still think it could be better. Even if it's fine the way it is, because it is fine the way it is. It's just obviously you want to be able to look at something and be like, I could still improve it in a few ways if I, had more time or if I wanted to go back and do something, I can go back and change it. But I'm happy with it at the moment. Um, the big thing that I would do differently is kind of find a way to create a more, I don't know, Christopher and Mullen in the same sort of text box, because what you do, you start out, you just write Christopher, no, zoom in a lot, like you write Christopher, and then you just use this thing, it's called kerning. Oh, that's not kerning. Hey,
Hey, you
I'm
need to
doing a
type.
thing for Vision Tech, so can you like step out for like 5 seconds?
Why would that be necessary if all you're doing is something for vision tech?
Because I'm recording and you're gonna be in it, and I kind of have to redo it. But I'm not gonna redo it because it's fun. Um,
I'm here to type in a credit card thing for your hostel.
yeah, I know. It'll be like 30 seconds, a little bit longer than that. But um, sorry, uh, I'm kind of pressed for time, so I don't really have an opportunity to redo this. So I'm sorry, but you do this thing called kerning. You just move the letters together, and that's how I created these things. But what I wanted to do was have one for my last name, Mullen, as well, and it didn't quite work out that way. So that's something I would change. Um, Other than that, I really think everything turned out pretty well. Um, the judges, I didn't specifically know what the judges were kind of looking for, so hopefully it all works out. But yeah, that was my 4 week eMagine project. Ended up turning out to be a little bit longer than 4 weeks, but hopefully everything goes well at eMagine, and I hope everybody is having a good time in Kansas because I'm having a great time in England. So I will